Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is a speaker and author of several books on relationships. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. My peers are professional men. Now, you know what? I gotta address something because I know I get some women on here that, you know, they see a picture and listen to some of the things I say and might not get where I'm coming from, what perspective I'm coming from. Now, because, you know, of course, we got women trying to level up. They trying to get like professional men or men with money, men of means. They don't realize, but I think some of y'all do, or I hope some of y'all do realize I'm coming from that perspective. Now, I know people might see me in the car videos. I might be cursing up a storm or doing whatever. Think about it. I'm only showing like snippets of my life. I'm only showing snippets. Yeah, I don't know where I really came from. Now, I'll just say I have 2 degrees, you know, an advanced degree. I never say what that one is. I'm saving that one for a special moment just to slam it in somebody's face, if it ever comes to that. But here's the whole thing. My peer groups are professionals, professional men. Now, I've said in the past, I know people in all groups. I know some Pookies and Ray Rays. I don't hang out with them, you know. You know, that's just how I came up. And the reason I'm sharing that is when I'm sharing a perspective, it's not a theory. See, you got a lot of women, even some women commentators who trying to tell you how to level up. And at best, they can tell you that they leveled up on their own. You know? At best, they can tell you they leveled up, you know, they found a good guy. So, you know, but, you know, that's not easy. That's not easy because I listen to like a lot of the stuff that some of the women will talk about. And even some of the men that speak to y'all, they telling y'all some bullshit. I can just tell you that now. Because I'm actually, you know, my peers since 1990 have been those upper echelon guys who actually going to have the money or the degree, the profession that you're looking for. And I know how they're thinking. Like when I say a lot of women, like I did a podcast and I said many women aren't going to level up. They don't realize how picky these men are. Like comparatively, I'm open personally, I'm more open than most of them, but that's like limited. That's limited. And there's plenty of women I might not have dealt with because they weren't at a certain level. And it's not a question of being like snobby or picky or elitist or something. It's just, you know, you just need a certain level of mental stimulation. And when you get these guys at that level, they very classist, very elitist. That's the very nature of it. You know, when I talk about select men, I've talked about, you know, the Mr. Goodbars, but I've also talked about the masked men or those the money men. By nature, they're very picky. They looking at everything. When they because at that level, the woman that they're around is very important. Now, a few weeks ago, I said I went to this event that had some bougie folks. But the fact of the matter is, I ain't see any tattoos. I ain't see any weaves. That was a fact. And they were dressed a certain way. They were behaving a certain way. They were playing a little bit of Negro geography, which for people who don't know what that is. Now, I mentioned it a while ago. I said, nah, you just need to know. All it is like where you go to school, where your grandfather go to school, where your grandmother, who do you know, what frat you in, all of that stuff. You know? And so you got a lot of men up there on that. And then they looking for a certain amount of class and everything. What I'm trying to tell you is, I was like, okay, this is what you need. But at the same time, I understand like other guys who aspire to that and what they're looking for. See, one thing with any man, and this goes across races, to be honest. Because if I ever get tired of this, if I ever get tired of doing this, all I had to do is text this one white guy. And Rom is probably making as much as he's doing now. The only problem is I'd be working for somebody, but it'd be an easy tech. It'd be an easy fix. You know? And the thing is a certain amount of pickiness. It's a certain amount of not just getting a woman just because she's there. Because I think a lot of women are used to dealing with thirsty dudes, and a lot of men, they just want the sex. Now the professional men, the money men, or successful businessmen, they want sex too. But they also want a certain type of woman that they can carry out with them, that they can click with beyond the sex, because that's part of the reason they're able to get there. They could get beyond just their loins. So they want that. So I'm understanding the perspective that I'm giving you and what I'm sharing with you basically is coming from these men. It was what they looking for. What type of men, like what type of women that they're talking about. Like, when men get together and it's like two types of women. The one that we just have sex with and just use, we might or might not say anything about her. In fact, usually at that level with those men, they probably won't say anything if it's just sex. Unless it's like some come up and it's just a funny story and they just have a total disrespect for her. They probably won't say anything. But if it's a woman who's a keeper and stuff, I know what these guys are saying, what they saying about the women that they can deal with, that they're going to deal with. I know what they're saying. I know what they're saying as far as their body build. I know what they're saying as far as how they wear their hair or their level of class. They're looking for a certain thing. And this is coming from their mouths. You're not going, you know what? So far, I haven't really found this online. Seriously, whenever I'll check out some videos of men talking, like, and I ain't talking about like in this sector where somebody doing a video out their living room or something. I'm talking about those like really professional studio quality videos where they're talking. The guys I know don't talk like them, because a lot of those guys who do it, if they're doing it for like, say, something like Madame Noir or something, there's certain things they ain't going to say because it's still a woman's platform. They not, in my opinion, they're not being honest. They not being honest, because the guys who are private, when the guys don't have the women around, they saying something different. Just like women do. Just like we know, like when y'all don't have any men around, y'all be talking totally different than what you do publicly. Now, without betraying confidences, I can say, this is what the men are talking about. Everything I cover, this is what I'm saying. When I say every woman is not going to level up, or most won't, I'm saying I'm looking at it from the perspective of all these men. And like I say, it's going back to 1990. So you're talking like men on a certain level of all races that I've interacted with, a few hundred at a minimum. So, I know what they're saying, what they're looking at, which women they ain't going to touch, which women they going to touch, which women they going to want to deal with just for sex, which women they going to want to take to like the highfalutin party with them, everything. And they saying it even now, they're going to say, okay, even like, because you got one thing, you do have a lot of professional men who are going overseas. I was on that before the news broke about them, a few years before it. And it was like, okay, this is their mindset, why they doing it. Because what you have with them, a lot of times with them, they just want to work and they don't want to be bothered with any domestic situations or anything. It ain't that they can't get a woman here, but, and that's an issue too, because you're going to have some men who are going to be workaholics. Now, whether or not you still want that anyway, but that's the thing that you got to take into consideration. So, you just, it's something to take in. And it's like, and it's not to say every woman on here at least, won't be able to make it up to that level. And this is why I say that. And I ain't just pandering to you when I say that, but if you're willing, just being willing to really listen to a man, just be honest with you. Not tell you any stuff. Probably say some things that I know y'all probably be like cringing, like, I don't know, Rom. But you're still willing to listen. That says that you're already on a higher level, ready to go there. So, anyway, that's all I got for the day. I'm going to talk to y'all ladies later. Peace and blessings.